Okay, so we're going to move on to the third example, which is going to be the cotangent of negative 2 pi over 3. So again, we have our angle that's given in radians, negative 2 pi over 3, so we have to figure out where that lands on the circle. So when you have your negative angle, because the negative angles aren't listed here, a good way to find your negative angle is to go to the positive angle, 2 pi over 3, which is listed right here, and then you just reflect over the x-axis. So if I go from positive 2 pi over 3, negative 2 pi over 3 would be right down here, the reflection over the x-axis. So this is the point that we're interested in. So negative 2 pi over 3 would bring us here. So now we have to look at cotangent. Cotangent is saying to take the x-coordinate and divide by the y-coordinate. So our x-coordinate is the first one, negative 1/2. The y-coordinate is negative square root of 3 over 2. So that's what we're going to set up first. Negative 1/2 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2. Now this needs to get simplified because it's a complex fraction. So we're going to do our keep, change, flip, but we can also see that negative divided by a negative will cancel, so we can just make that a positive right away. So now when we do our keep, change, flip, we're going to keep the 1/2, change the division to multiplication, and then flip the bottom fraction. And that will give us this, positive 1/2 times 2 over square root of 3. And the negative just canceled out. So now when we simplify this, the 2 on the top and the bottom can reduce, and we'll be left with 1 over the square root of 3, which still needs to get simplified because we're not allowed to leave square roots on the denominator. So we've got our 1 over square root of 3, and then we need to rationalize the denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by square root of 3, because it's okay to have a square root in the numerator. It's not okay to have the square root in the denominator. So when we multiply on top, we get square root of 3. If you put the 1 out in front, that's okay as well. Over square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3. So this is our final answer that's been simplified. So we started with this fraction, and then we simplified it all the way down to this. All right, so make sure if you have to simplify, you show your work for each one of those. So your assignment is just going to be 10 of these problems to do out. Some of them simplify nicely, like this first one. Some of them might give you undefined. Some of them you might have to do some keep, change, flip, or even rationalizing the denominator. So this worksheet's going to be posted on Google Classroom. You don't need to print it out. You can just write your work in a notebook or on a piece of paper. And then when you want to turn it in, you can take a picture of your solutions and turn it in through Google Classroom on the app on your phone. That's the easiest way to do it, so you don't have to do an electronic copy. Just make sure I can see all the problems on there. And then when you hit turn it in, I will get that through Google Classroom and your gradebook will be updated. If you have any questions, you need to email me. I'm on my computer pretty much for 8 hours a day, so I can email you back right away if you're having any issues. Let me know. All right, guys, so I will hear from you on Friday, and we'll have our next assignment posted next Monday. Make sure also, too, if you're missing any labs, that you get those handed in, or else those will be zeros in the gradebook because those were due before this break that we've had, or this remote learning that we're doing.